Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Vinyl Thoughts. So, today we're going to talk about this album. It came to my attention that very recently, I think within the past couple of weeks, we actually reached the 10th year anniversary of the release of Lulu, the collaboration between Lou Reed and Metallica. And so I thought I would just talk about it a little bit because over the years, it has gained popularity as one of the most ultimate circle jerk albums to hate on if you just need something to grab. This is the punching bag of choice, not to mention other Metallica releases. And so I decided to revisit this album again. When I say revisit, it's not like it's been 10 years. I've heard this album several times over the years, but let's take it back. Let's take it back to 2010, 2011. I don't remember when the first single was released, but I vividly remember being up late one night and all of a sudden the post comes up of here a new track from the Metallica Lou Reed collaboration. Now, I already knew that this was a thing that was going to be happening, and to be completely honest, the whole idea made me very excited. Now, bear with me for a moment because I'm not a Lou Reed fan. There's some Velvet Underground stuff that's pretty okay. It's not really my cup of tea. I've never been a fan. And sure, is it the Transformer album by Lou Reed? That's got some memorable tracks on it. But overall, Lou Reed seems like the kind of artist that hipsters are really into. And fuck hipsters, right? But when it was announced, like I was coming off the high of becoming a big Metallica fan again. Like I was a huge fan when I was younger. I fell off a little bit around the Reload era. I stayed with them, but I was just like, I'm not really into what they're doing. And then I came back in a big way with Death Magnetic. I still think that's an incredible album. And so I'm like, well, what could they follow that up with? And those of you who watch my channel often, you probably know that I'm the kind of fan that I don't want a band to shell out the same bullshit with another album cover and different title, but it's all essentially the same thing again. I hate that. And so when this was announced, I'm like, this is the ultimate opposite of that. It's like Death Magnetic, and then they're like, oh, by the way, we're doing a collaboration with Lou Reed. It made me very happy because I knew it was going to be interesting, but at the same time, I love when your basic bitch metalheads get pissed off. I love it. So when I got to hear that first song, which was The View, which many of you will remember from the lines uttered by James Hetfield, I am the table! And I just remember hearing it, and it was everything that I wanted it to be. Now, did I think that it was great? No, I had issues with it, but I immediately was like, this is so bizarre, and it doesn't quite work, I think, the way that it's supposed to work, but it also, because of that, worked in a really big way. So I was actually pretty excited for the release of Lulu because I was like, is this just going to be an entire album's worth of weird shit that's going to piss people off? Bring it to me. And so the album came out, yes. And it's a very difficult first listen. I mean, some would say it's a very difficult any listen. But the feeling that I got from hearing The View, it carries on through the entire album. I'm like, this is a thing that shouldn't exist, doesn't have any reason to exist, but all of those things and the fact that it's coming from Metallica, which is this big-ass band, one of the biggest metal bands in the world, and a band that a lot of people would like to call sellouts, but no sellout band would have ever made this. Like, this is not, and to be fair, I've talked about this before, all the risks that Metallica have taken over the years, it's not guaranteed. The Black Album wasn't guaranteed to be a success. There could have been such a backlash that it sold no copies, like the fucking Motley Crue self-titled album or something like that. And so the fact that they continued that late in the game to make this kind of statement when they didn't need to. They could have just put out another metal-ish Metallica album and cashed their fucking paychecks and moved on. But this is what we got. And it is kind of a rough listen. Now, the one thing that I will say that always makes me laugh, that is always in my head when I listen to this album, is that the combination of the music that Metallica... I know some of this music was written by Lou Reed and then like beefed up by Metallica, but all the lyrics for the most part are Lou Reed's. But the album always came across to me like Metallica are in a room and they're playing these sort of more simple kind of metal tunes that they're kind of working on maybe for their next album. In wanders a drunken homeless man who walks up to the microphone and says, "I have some poetry." And the dudes in Metallica just go, "Let's hear it." And that's Lulu. So I know there's a lot more to it than that. Lou Reed fans would probably argue that lyrically there's a lot going on. And that's true. A lot of the lyrics from Lou Reed they're pretty good and they're pretty thought-provoking, but at the same time, there are some fucking cringe-worthy lyrics on this album. And there are some parts that just make me fucking giggle out loud on top of all that. There's a great, I don't remember what song it's on, but you hear Lou Reed go, "Come on, James." It's the cutest thing ever. And also rest in peace, Lou Reed, who died like 2 years. This was the last album that Lou Reed ever worked on, as far as I know. And then he died depressed because so many people were fucking rude about it. And that's the thing. I don't get the hatred towards this album because essentially it's a Lou Reed album. It's not a Metallica album. And if you want to go even further, it's neither of those. It's Lulu. So when I talk about Metallica's catalog, I sometimes don't even mention this album because it's not a fully Metallica album. And you know, so it's just interesting to me that there has to be one side or another. So if you don't like Lulu, you have to really not like it. Like there has to be some venom coming out of your mouth when you talk about it, or you know everything is just a fucking joke, which I get, but it's too easy and too simple to just take this album as dumb or bad, because yeah, it's both those things. It's also really engaging, really challenging, really interesting, fun at times, has some fucking cool riffs in it. Put all of those fucking things together. I'm not here to tell you that you need to rethink your opinion on Lulu. I just want it to be given a fair shot as an album that no other metal band, especially no Big Four band, no thrash band, no other band would have taken this kind of risk. And I know I said risk because, you know, you listen to the album Risk by Megadeth. That, compared to this, that was not a risk. Let's take a look at this since it is Vinyl Thoughts. I know I'm kind of all over the place, but this is just a conversational video. Hopefully you're enjoying this. But this is a vinyl version of Lulu. The artwork is whatever. I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of like the album. It's like the artwork's not awful. It's just kind of like, I guess it goes very well with the music. There's basic sleeves in it, but they have the little lining on the inside, so that's cool. But yeah, pretty basic looking stuff on this album. And so yeah, like I said, I did revisit it very recently, and I have to admit, I really enjoyed it. And obviously, I'm coming at it from a different perspective than most people do, because I'm a huge Metallica fan and I like the fact that this album exists. So coming at it from that perspective, yeah, I realize that I'm looking at it differently. But I said all those things before. It baffles me that it exists, and that makes me love it. There's the insert. See, real basic. No like band photos or anything in here. Very bare bones. But anyway, so it's been 10 years. And honestly, I'd have to say that, in my opinion, the years have been good to this album. And maybe it's because there's so much unnecessary hatred towards this album that it makes me give it more love. I almost feel like I understand this album. I feel like if I had become a rock star to the caliber that the Metallica dudes are, I probably would have ended up doing something like this. Just because it gets so boring, just doing the same shit over and over again and not taking a chance. Because taking a chance is what is exciting. Sure, the reward in the end is really exciting. If you put out an album and everybody loves it and you make shitloads of money, yeah, it's amazing. But there's that rush of like doing something different and just like, is this going to connect? Is this not? That I don't think I would ever get tired of doing. And I think that because we have albums like Lulu, that's what makes a band like Metallica an amazing band. I'm sure there are plenty of people out there that are AC/DC fans or Motorhead fans, and I'm not shitting on either one of those bands. Those are great bands, classic bands. But to me, they're not on the same level because they never tried to challenge their audience. And maybe challenging the audience wasn't the point that Metallica and Lou Reed had. Maybe it was just a crazy idea and they were just doing it for themselves. It was completely self-indulgent. It doesn't matter because I'm, from the perspective of an actual fan, it comes across to me like I'm not just trying to help them get paid. Like they're actually putting something out that I could easily go, I don't want to buy this. And a lot of people didn't want to buy this. So that makes me feel like there's more of an effort being put in to the things that are being put out. And Lulu is a really great example of a band that hasn't stopped trying. On that note, I thought about this question too. If this album had come out and it was Lou Reed and some other band, would I give a shit? Probably not. So there you go. Take that as you will. Some things are more complicated than people want them to be. And I apologize to music fans that not all music is presented to you in a way where you can immediately, within 30 seconds, give your opinion on, or it's an opinion that you can wrap up in a nice little 1 to 2 minute video where you go, it has some badass riffs and the production is great. See you later. Now, what a fucking boring world it would be if that was the case. So, is Lulu my least favorite Metallica album? No. Is it even close to my favorite? No. But that's the beauty of a band like Metallica. And to be completely honest, the praise that this album got, it got a little bit of it, is actually more interesting than all the negativity. Like, look at this. This is the little outer wrapping of the thing. Look, it clearly says that somebody from Rolling Stone thought this was a great album. So, I mean, it happened. So that I could ramble on for a long time about this album because it's just fucking fascinating to me. And it's 10 years old now. Happy 10th birthday to Lulu. And thank you very much for watching this episode of Vinyl Thoughts. I appreciate it. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you subscribe and share this video out there if you can. And yeah, thanks for continuing to support me. And that's all I got for today. I will see you all again very soon.